a guide on how to keep kids safe online, as well as educating them on how to look out for scammers. As many of you may already know, it is very important to be careful where you decide to give out your information when on the internet. No matter how few people you think have seen your posts or how short a period of time you think it's been up for, once information has been shared on the internet, it's there forever. The reason it may be dangerous for kids who aren't educated enough is that there are some awful people who wish to prey on and exploit those who are more vulnerable, especially children who are naive and at risk of unknowingly sharing too much information. This is as a result of not being guided through the process of how to look out for certain warning signs. Their ignorance on these issues make them a prime target for crimes such as scams, grooming, and even kidnapping. It is of the utmost importance that children, who are some of the most vulnerable groups in terms of targets for online crime, are educated on the dangers of not being safe enough online. Here are some more details on the dangers to be aware of on digital platforms and ways to recognize the risks of negative outcomes. Ever gotten a funny text from Lloyds or HSBC saying you've got to update some information, and when you click on the link, the website looks quite realistic but just off? That's an example of a scam. An example of how simple yet deceiving scams can be. Obviously, most people wouldn't fall for that scam, but younger kids with phones might not even realize the more obvious things like ignoring texts from unknown or unverified numbers. I think most of us are starting to understand now how children especially can struggle to recognize and fall for these scams that even some adults are caught off guard by. Ways in which you can educate and protect children from scams include parental controls on websites, never sharing personal identifying information (PPI), never clicking on dangerous or suspicious unknown links, being cautious to avoid fake websites. Remember, first to verify it's your actual bank before you give away any personal information over the phone. Also, banks will never ask you for your personal debit credit card information over the phone, so don't give that away. Fake adverts on various websites from Depop to eBay might be something you should look out for. Remember, if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. Blackmail. If someone finds out your information, they can threaten to expose that information unless you do as they say. This may oftentimes come in the form of sexual or financial exploitation. Oftentimes the blackmail doesn't end until the authorities are involved and catch the perpetrator. The best way to avoid getting blackmailed is not to share personal information on the internet. However, if you find yourself in a situation where you are being blackmailed, it is extremely important that you go tell your parents or guardian so that they can contact the authorities immediately. Grooming and child abuse. In order to keep children safe from online predators, they need to be educated on the importance of never sharing private information with strangers. Especially things like real name, age, gender, phone numbers, personal addresses, school names, and personal photos. It should also be a caregiver guardian's job to keep tabs on what their children do so that they can keep an eye on who their child is talking to. As I also mentioned before, things like parental controls and child-friendly social media sites can help them stay as protected as possible. At Att10tive, our mission is to help our community thrive and provide the necessary tools to help people stay protected in any way we can. This has especially been our goal with our newest project, Be Safe. Let's make sure children are well educated and safe when using the internet, as well as staying away from scams.